Hey Ottawa, here is your Monday market snapshot for the Ottawa real estate market on Monday, June 19th, 2023. My name is Annalee Rice and I'm a realtor with LePage Performance Realty here in Ottawa, Ontario. Every week I provide you the updates on what's going on in the Ottawa real estate market. Our first look is citywide. This week, we're seeing again an increase in the number of actively listed properties across property types, and most notably, it's in the townhome market. If you'll see that we're above 1,700, and this is the first time this year that we've been above 1,700 active listings across the city. For sold properties, we see an increase this week, which is up from last week was a bit of a dip. This week, we're back up, and most notably, we see the condominiums sales increased, and we see a decrease this week in the number of detached homes that sold. Here's the graph form of the active listings, which continue to rise, and we see the conditionally sold and sold wedges are staying about constant, and the overall number of properties are up. Here's the graph form for new listings and sales. So we see for the second week in a row, we see the decrease in the number of active listings. This week, we saw 458 properties listed, which is slightly down. And then of those 458, we had 82% or 376 were new to the market listings, and 18% or 82 properties were relisted properties. For sales, we see that it was a slight up from last week, and June sales are definitely down. That's the last 3 weeks of red bars there. They're definitely down from May, but they're holding pretty constant. For sales this week, we see 31% of the homes that sold this week sold with no conditional period. We've seen it fluctuate back and forth over the last month and a half between about a quarter, that 25%, and 1/3, about 33% of homes selling without conditions. Of the properties that sold this week, 21% were on the market for 7 days or less, and 70% were on the market for 30 days or less. And of those homes that sold within 7 days, we had 71% of those sold with no conditions. Okay, now we're going to zoom into the different areas of the city and look at the more specific stats. In the central urban region inside the Greenbelt, the stats really do mirror quite closely what we saw citywide. The number of active listings is up across property types, and the sales of condominiums this week increased significantly after last week's random drop of sales. Detached sales are down slightly. In Canada and Stittsville, we're seeing a slight decrease in the number of active listings for both detached homes and condominiums, but a slight increase for townhomes. Sales for detached homes were down quite significantly. This is the first time we've been in the teens since mid-April. Hopefully it's just a little blip and not a bit anything more significant of a slowdown in any market. In Barrhaven and Riverside South, we see a slight increase in the number of detached and townhome listings and a slight decrease for the number of condominiums listed this week. Sales this week were down for detached homes and townhomes and just flat for condominiums. In Orleans, we see an increase in both the detached and condos that are listed for sale and no change for the number of townhomes that are listed. Sales were down for detached homes as well as townhomes and up quite significantly for condominiums. And here we have the chart form for full data for the residential detached homes. And you'll note that the conditionally sold detached homes in Barrhaven and Riverside South, the average sale price or average conditional sold price is still ridiculously high. And that's due to the property that I mentioned in my last week's update. There's a $10 million property that's sitting conditionally sold. It's a development property and shouldn't really be listed in the detached home sales. And here are the full stats in chart form for residential townhomes across the city. I am noting that since we've started to see a little bit of an increase in the number of actively listed properties, we're starting to see a little bit of the pressure come off, and the number of cumulative days on market for the sold properties is starting to creep back up, which is nice to see it. Hopefully it means that the buyers are able to include some conditions on their purchases, and a little bit of the frantic nature of the market might be dropping off a little bit. And here are the stats for the condominiums across the city. Okay, that's it for this week. It's a bit of a quick update, but I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you did, please hit that like button or click subscribe so that you don't miss future weekly updates on the Ottawa real estate market. As always, if you have any suggestions on what I should include or what you'd like to know, please drop me a message or get in touch, leave a message, leave a comment, and I will do what I can to provide that information to you. Have a great week.